UAE then in Dubai to be specific, and now the flight expected to arrive at around 2:41, having left at 9:15 then in Dubai. It's set to arrive in Johannesburg at 2:41, so just around 22:03 p.m. is when it's expected to arrive. It is the flight in red here, as you can see, in around central Mozambique is where it currently is flying over. It is of course set to arrive, as we note then, at OR Tambo International Airport, where the President, the Deputy President, as well as the Health Minister and the Commissioner then from India are set to receive the virus. It is the first set of 1 million doses that we're expected to receive then, the AstraZeneca vaccine, that is, of COVID-19. Indeed, a big day for South Africa, considering the number, of course, of days under lockdown and the number of days we've had here in South Africa where the virus has certainly still plagued us. We are, of course, the country with the highest impact from COVID-19, considering the number of deaths and total cases on the continent. And indeed, we are receiving those. And as we noted there, just in the central part of Mozambique is where that flight is at present. And we will certainly await it eagerly. And we will continue to get a grip of the story then for you, of course, as it lands, as the President receives it. In fact, speaking of which, my colleague Samkele Maseko is at OR Tambo International Airport, awaiting with the presidency as well the very same consignment we have just been speaking about. Samkele, certainly a day that the President, the Deputy President, will try to enhance pomp, but certainly has said and will continue to say that we need to be able to get more of these.
Indeed, Arabile, the arrival of this Oxford University AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine sets the tone for tonight's State of the Nation address by President Cyril Ramaphosa at 8 o'clock, where the first batch of the 1 million AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine comes into our shores here in South Africa and lands in South African airspace at about 2:45 this afternoon, to be received by President Cyril Ramaphosa and the Deputy President David Mabuza, who's in charge of the Inter-Ministerial Committee overseeing the rollout of the COVID-19 vaccine and making sure that the funds of the vaccine are not stolen by those hyenas who may be lurking to make a quick buck. But the fight South Africa has embarked on this invisible enemy goes into second gear with the arrival of the first batch of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine to be given to the frontline troopers of this fight against this particular invisible enemy, which is the health sector of this country, the nurses, the doctors, whom are nursing and treating those South Africans whom have been ravaged by this particular pandemic of COVID-19, will be at the front line of receiving this particular vaccine. We do know that once it arrives, I'm just going to ask my colleagues just to show you where the gate where this particular vaccine will be coming out from once it arrives. Once the cargo is disembarked from the cargo flight, it will come out of this particular gate and will be escorted to where it will be stored, and within the next 10 to 14 days the vaccine will be going through quality control to make sure that it's the correct vaccine that we have, and that it's the correct one that can be rolled out to South Africans to have minimal, what may say, effects on people, and that it's able to help the healthcare workers to be able to be immune from this particular pandemic of COVID-19, in order to be able for South Africa to receive the further 20 million doses of the Pfizer vaccine, which has also been procured by the Department of Health with the international pharmaceutical company that is also yet to come. You do know that the South African government has procured over 40 million doses of COVID-19 of various vaccines coming from the AstraZeneca one, coming from India. You've also got Pfizer from the international pharmaceutical company, which has been procured by the Department of Health and through the South African government. And we also have the one that's coming through the COVAX arrangement, which South Africa has been participating in with the World Health Organization. But the first batch of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine arrives on South African shores at about 2:45 this afternoon. First in line to receive this vaccine are the health protectionists who've been the soldiers who've been helping South Africans fight this particular pandemic. We do know that at this point in time, over 1.5 million South Africans have been infected and have been affected by this particular virus of COVID-19. There's about 45,000 deaths that have been recorded through this particular pandemic, and it also comes at a time where various ministers have also lost their lives. I'm just going to ask my colleagues as well to show you some of the logistics. You can see an ice-cold room that has been coming here at the OR Tambo International Airport in Ekurhuleni. It's here. It will be storing and will be taking. And we will be taking this. This is from BioVac, which is a South African pharmaceutical company, which is also working with the South African government on the logistics of rolling out the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine. It's a South African company, which is a collaboration between the private sector and public sector. This public sector and this public-private sector partnership, which government has been talking about. But you can see the logistics of it all. Ice cold room trucks have arrived here, and the vaccine logistically will be looking to be transported to the area where it will be stored for logistical purposes and for packaging purposes. You can see the trucks are going around here at Kempton Park at the OR Tambo International Airport, Arabile.
Yeah, Samkele, certainly a whole lot of pomp, praise, and certainly a whole lot of expectation coming through, definitely from the airport side, as we expect President Cyril Ramaphosa and the Deputy President there, David Mabuza, to indeed bring in those. But we've got some other news as well happening across the world. You've been able to track a little bit of that for us as well then, and that is with former President Jacob Zuma saying that he will defy again the court order that has been put forward by the Constitutional Court to appear before the State Capture Commission of Inquiry, and this time he said he will not stay, or he will not be before that commission. How damning is that?
Well, Arabile, as you can see, the news cycle in the country is moving at a rapid speed today. There's many news coming in, particularly for us news junkies. You can see that it's the COVID-19, the AstraZeneca vaccine that is landed in our shores. You can also see the trucks here for the logistical purposes. And obviously, there will always be political theater as well when it comes to the issues of the politics of the day, with the president addressing tonight. You've got another former president who's seemingly not paying attention and not abiding to the laws of this country. Remember that judgment given by Judge Jafta last week, saying that even those who at some point in time made the laws of this country have to obey the laws. This is a constitutional country, and that the former President Jacob Zuma has to abide by the constitution of this country, and he has to appear by the State Capture Commission of Inquiry and answer all questions posed to him, as does not have a right to remain silent. So former President Jacob Zuma is seemingly saying, I will not abide by the Constitutional Court ruling. You heard Justice Jafta in that court appearance when Advocate Thembeka Senior Counsel appearing for the State Capture Commission of Inquiry. I remember very clearly Justice Jafta asking Advocate Thembeka if former President Jacob Zuma will respect and abide by the judgment of the Constitutional Court, knowing very well that he did not even have the courtesy to respect the court by making an appearance through the affidavits that he may have filed or through legal representation of his legal counsel, which he simply sent a letter and saying that he will be not participating in any proceedings instituted against him by the State Capture of Inquiry. And he's gone further now to say to the Constitutional Court, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to fight for my rights as I see please. And I'm just simply going to disregard the Constitutional Court ruling and disregard the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, whom he swore to protect when he was sworn in as the president of the country, but not to take away from the shine of South Africans, of the international relations and cooperation between South Africa and India, whom have helped the country now with this first batch of the 1 million doses of the COVID-19 AstraZeneca vaccine, which will be coming to our shores. The politics of the day must not deter that a savior of the people is arriving today, which is a COVID-19 vaccine, which South Africa has so much needed. South African government, Arabile, has been slated for its slow pace and slow preparation of getting a vaccine to our shores. We're in the phase of the second phase of this particular pandemic, the second wave, and government has seemingly has been dragging its feet, in the words of many analysts, when it comes to the procurement of this vaccine. I saw somewhere someone saying that South African government is looking at procuring a vaccine rather than manufacturing one by our scientists here in the country and the various pharmaceutical companies that are here in the country.
Yeah, certainly it does. As you note there, indeed, a whole lot has really been said around South Africa's preparedness, ability to get vaccine, the finances, etc., all very critical and important. You're quite right. It shouldn't be overshadowing that issue. But of course, as you said, the news cycle does continue to go through as well, right? It turns and churns. Former spy boss Arthur Fraser opening up that perjury case as well, because of the spy revelations that have been revealed at the Zondo Commission of Inquiry. How critical and important will that then be as well to the entire State Capture Commission of Inquiry?
Arabile, this basically tells you that the spy agency in the country and the South African State Security Agency, there are factions within the SSA. You've had the likes of former Minister of Intelligence in the country, who was part of that expert panel, ANC veteran and former Minister Sidney Mufamadi, saying that there are divisions in the State Security Agency. The State Security Agency was used as a piggy bank by a particular faction within the African National Congress. Funds were siphoned off the State Security Agency in the tenure of Arthur Fraser as the Director General of that particular State Security Agency, during the leadership of the likes of Minister at the time, David Mahlobo, and later on Bongani Bongo, saying that there is about 9 billion rands that is unaccounted for of state security money, and that someone could just walk in as an agent or as a personnel of the State Security Agency and request millions of rands and walk out with those millions of rands and simply come back and write a report that that particular mission was successful, but not have particular clearly audited accounts of what happened to that amounts of money. Remember that on the 15th of December in 2017, an amount of about 19 million rands was taken for COVID operations during the ANC's conference. But Arabile, I want to stress the point that these issues of the day of the State Capture Commission of Inquiry, the issues of former President Jacob Zuma seemingly turning his back on the Constitutional Court ruling and not willing to abide by it, must not overshadow the issue of the vaccine that has just landed on that is going to land on our shores at 2:45 this afternoon, as the lives of South Africans depend on a clear, effective plan of the government of the day to roll out this vaccine. Because if this vaccine is not rolled out, and South Africans, as per government's plans, to vaccinate about 67% of the South African population, which is about 40 million people, we will not in later months to come see the revelations that are going to be coming out of the State Capture Commission of Inquiry. The very same State Capture Commission of Inquiry had to go on a recess recently due to a COVID-19 issue at that particular State Capture Commission of Inquiry. About 17, if not 13, legislatures in the National Assembly have passed on. Just this afternoon, the ANC issuing out a statement that one of their members of parliament has just deceased, the sister of the Minister of Mineral Resources and Energy, Gwede Mantashe. About a week ago, we buried the Minister of in the presidency, that would be Minister Jackson Mthembu, who passed away through this particular pandemic of COVID-19. There have been a number of deaths of significant politicians and significant figures in this country who succumbed to this particular pandemic.
Yeah. Samkele Maseko, always good chatting to you. Thank you so much for that. Of course, you'll keep abreast of those vaccines as they land. Then, of course, now landing from the UAE, 2:41 is supposedly the time that they may arrive, in and around 2:45. Of course, we'll track that for you. We'll have that for you live right here, of course, on SABC News. Do stay tuned for that.